How's everybody doing today? First, I would like to thank, of course, 40th Grand Bosses, Brother Knox, for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak to everyone. Of course, all the brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, my chapter, Epsilon Iota Iota. Clearly, they are here. Of course, my mother-in-law, my beautiful mother-in-law, I just call her Mom, came all the way from Houston to support me. Of course, that's why she's here, AJ. She wasn't with me on bourbon. But when I look back and I received this opportunity to speak to everybody, I had to kind of think about it, and really, I shouldn't be your keynote speaker today. I really shouldn't be your keynote speaker. And here's the reason why. Sir, I'm getting out here. Listen, I'll get out of the car. Ow, I can't even get out of the car. Wait. That was a black man on January 1st, 2014 that was pulled over by the police, and he was told to get out of the car, where the black man asked, what did I do? And the second police officer came and said, get out or get effed up. That black individual was forced out of the car, and he was effed up. And clearly that individual was me. Police brutality is real. At a particular time, I was working at ESPN, anchoring SportsCenter. Remembering the days where I started off at Alpena, Michigan, a little small town way up north in Michigan, where there are probably about 2 black people, myself and some guy that I haven't even heard of yet. From moving to San Antonio, Texas, to Boston, to New York, to finally living my dream job anchoring SportsCenter at ESPN. But at that moment, and that night, all that didn't mean a dang on thing. They had the nerve to charge me with resisting arrest. Sounded like I was trying to get out of the car from the audio you heard. Now, did they do it because I was black? I don't know. I know that both of the officers were white. And what's so amazing to me is after they did all that, they were wondering, okay, what do you do for a living? And I told them what I did for a living, and then also, all of a sudden, everything changed. They treated me different. They dismissed the ticket, which is a normal traffic stop. They also dropped the charges. And it makes me think how lucky I was, because if you look at people like Philando Castile or Eric Gardner, and you know the list goes on and on and on, they weren't lucky on their particular day. So I wonder, why does a black man have to be a sports anchor for law enforcement to treat them differently? Because everybody in the city, they're not sports anchors. They're regular individuals, hardworking, trying to make their lives better in some particular way. And many people wonder, or many people think, that police brutality really isn't getting any worse. It's just being highlighted because we have cell phones and we're posting it on social media, and they couldn't be more wrong. So as a sports anchor, I'm a numbers guy. I have to look up how many points somebody scored, look at the trends and the averages. And so I did my own research, and 2018 is on pace to be the deadliest year yet. The deadliest year ever measured, people. There's a website that tracks every single police killing since 2013. And since June 30th, just June 30th, 618 people have been killed by police officers. Now, if that trend continues, it could be the first year ever recorded that we could have 1,300 people killed by law enforcement. I dug even deeper. If I had to look at 2017, it was 1,147 people killed by law enforcement. 25% of them were black, and it doesn't make any sense because we only make up 13% of the population. Then I looked at on the police side, the accountability. And I looked up back in 2015, any officer or officers that were involved in a killing, 99% of them weren't charged for anything. I don't think that sunk in. 99% weren't charged for anything. Now, I'm a guy who is in favor of NFL players taking a knee. I don't think they should take a knee to disrespect the flag, and I know that's not why they do it. The national anthem, if you really want to think about it, talks about the killing of slaves anyways. But the protest served as one purpose, to create awareness. Now, I went to the NFL owners meetings, and I had the opportunity to interview Jerry Jones, who's with the Cowboys, Robert Kraft, who's with the Patriots, and one thing that really, really stood out, they didn't really look at these athletes as the color of their skin or how they feel, but it was more about the money, the color green. Now the NFL, they want to donate $100 million to help change things in the African American community. But let's just keep it real, people. Basically, that $100 million is to make us shut up and go away. You get a guy like Colin Kaepernick, which you mentioned earlier. The guy went to the University of Nevada, and at that particular school, Colin went through exactly what he's going through right now. We just didn't see it on a national scale because he wasn't a minority at that particular school. So what he's doing right now is nothing new. But the problem is the dude is still not on an NFL team. And he's not on the NFL team because he was trying to save lives, which makes absolutely no sense. There's a guy named Johnny Manziel, covered him in high school, went to his house, sat down, had dinner with his mom and dad. Johnny Manziel is a guy who's been indicted for beating up his ex-girlfriend, addicted to drugs, had to go to rehab, had many run-ins with the law. And personally, when I met him when he was in high school, I can tell from his demeanor what kind of person he was, and I guess in the frat we'll call it straight germ. But what amazes me, not too long ago, so many NFL scouts would show up to his workout to have him on his NFL team, but Colin Kaepernick can't get a job just as a third-string quarterback. These business owners, it's all about business to them. These NFL owners, all about business. But we need to properly educate ourselves, our community, especially educate ourselves and our youngsters about our rights. There's a lot of people who are in the NFL and they don't understand us because they're not us. They don't know how it feels to be an African American and live the life as an African American every single day. And I can give you so many examples because it's not even just on the football field. I can go straight to my former job at ESPN. I don't know if you ever heard of the Open, but it's a golf tournament. It's in Liverpool, England. And they had this little trivia thing where, can you name all the members of the Beatles? Yeah, I heard that laugh. Now, I don't know about you, but my parents still have the Temptation album in their stereo right now. I didn't grow up listening to my mother and father playing the Beatles. So honestly, I named one, I couldn't get the other ones. And they all attacked me like I didn't know my pearls. So after I tried to defend myself, I told them, okay, so what's equivalent to the Beatles? One guy said, the Jackson 5. So I was like, okay, why don't you name all the original members of the Jackson 5? Of course, they got Michael. Another one said Jermaine. A few got Tito. And then they went MIA. Totally forgot about Jackie and Marlon. Matter of fact, one of them said Randy Jackson, even though Randy Jackson was eventually in it at one particular time, but they weren't talking about that Randy Jackson. We're talking about Randy Jackson from American Idol. But what they realized, and what we all should realize, is that having different influences should be embraced, not scrutinized. I had a producer at ESPN who gave every single hockey segment to this white guy, this other anchor, because there's two anchors when you anchor SportsCenter. And so I went to him. This is a true story. Why do you give him all the hockey segments? And he looked at me, which I can understand why. You guys like hockey? He judged me for my race, not the fact that I was qualified for that particular job. If I was working on SportsCenter at ESPN, that means I knew hockey. Because I put in the hard work to be versatile. The same way we should go out in the community to be versatile. I studied every single hockey name before I even met that guy, so I know how to pronounce every hockey name because you know they're difficult, so I know who Yaroslav Halak is, Nikita Kucherov. I know when a goalie's playing really well, he's standing on his head. If the puck goes through his legs, it's going through his 5-hole. About 2% of y'all got that. I can go back a few years and Snoop Dogg. We had a conversation, and he told me, it's in the public space, not, so there were public people around, so it was like I was hanging with him. But he told me that when African Americans see you on television, they're gonna be proud of you. AJ mentioned the video. You guys have been so proud of me. I appreciate that. But what are you going to do to be versatile to make the white people like you, the Asian people like you, the Indian people like you? That's what we have to strive for, to be versatile. Jamil Hill, a good friend of mine, who's at ESPN, Trump tried to ruin her life. I spoke to her the day after all that stuff happened, and one of the most disappointing things I heard was the fact that she felt like she didn't have the support from ESPN. And what I noticed is she was anchoring what they call the 6 at 6 o'clock, that they didn't really want that when it started. They were good at, let me rephrase, the higher ups didn't really want that. I'm not surprised that the 6 no longer exists. Because when you look at every single manager, everybody who does a hiring and firing at ESPN, even though I love that job, I'm blessed to work there, none of them look like us. So you wonder, how can they help us? How can they give us the support if they're not us and they don't understand us? So I encourage everybody, I want you to teach people. I have my own junior broadcasting program. I mentor so many people, teach them how to create a resume, cover letter, how to conduct a job interview. I teach them young men how to be a good dad, because being a dad is fun, man. Man, I love my daughter. She's 5 going on 25. I teach these young men how to tie a tie. And the reason why I do that is because I will be a fool if I didn't give back to the community that raised me. So I challenge all of you to go back home after this conclave is over. Do something in your community. Raise the money, yes. Give the scholarships out so people can get a better education. But sometimes it's just as simple as having a conversation with a young man or a young woman, just to inspire them, just to give them some encouragement. All it takes is a 2-minute conversation. Because if you don't, this could be you the next time. Wait! Sir, I'm getting out here. Listen, I'll get out of the car. Ow! I can't even get out of the car. Wait! But that's if you're lucky to survive it like myself. God bless y'all. Thank you for having me as your keynote speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give him another round of applause. Do you have the video? Can you roll that, please?
From hopping on ESPN Sports Center to now here in D.C., I'm sports anchor Darren Haynes, Spring 03 EII, about to be out in New Orleans. We're only 4 days away from the 81st Grand Conclave. I want to see you be out in New Orleans with the Qs. Don't be hiding from the Qs like this, bro. I want to hear the dog throughout the French Quarter. You know how it is. When the dog comes on, you set out a hop no matter what you're doing. And that's why LeBron is in LA. So for all the bros that like to throw up the double hooks, single hooks, the lazy hooks, or the old school hooks, I want to see you at the Clave. While there, you'll find plenty of crawfish, gumbo, and beignets, but we know what the bros want to eat. There's a convention center, and there, bam, it's the closest Popeye's chicken. Finally, I'm your keynote speaker at the Entertainers and Athletes program at the convention center on Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Be there and be out.
Hey, wait, first of all, I appreciate you guys showing that, because when I actually had to put that together, everybody who's in the control room, they don't look like us either. And my director is in my ear like, what is this for again? Because I had to do different takes, and I'm hopping on the set, but I showed him the final product, and he got an understanding on what we're all about and how much fun we have, and the bros like chicken.